To many people, Christopher Reeves was just the face of Superman. But to his kids, he was much more, particularly to his son, Will Reeves. Growing up, Will loved his father, but at the tender age of 3, his father battled death and was left paralyzed. The news of Christopher getting paralyzed shocked the world, but it shocked his 3-year-old son more. The man he had known was to be strong and fit his whole life, just suddenly couldn't stand up and walk again. Nobody knew about how this new change affected the young Will Reeves, and nobody would have known if William hadn't come out and exposed some secrets of his childhood that would leave all of you in tears. Did Christopher Reeves completely change after his injury? Did it affect his relationship with his youngest son, William? What are these childhood secrets that William suddenly wants to expose? Let's find out together as we explore what William has to say about his father. These secrets will leave you wondering if this was the same Man of Steel we knew and grew to love in the 70s. Early life. Christopher Reeves was born to a journalist mother and an academic father in New York City on the 25th of September, 1952. His house, being filled with accomplished scholars and very educated people, paved the way for his artistic spark and intellectual curiosity at a very young age. He had access to lots of books growing up, but the ones that caught his attention the most were drama books and novels, which created a path for loving drama and stage performance. At the tender age of 9, Christopher found himself drawn to the magic of performance. He participated in a lot of school plays and went to various local theaters, garnering knowledge as much as he could. He had always dreamt of captivating audiences, of weaving tales that would transport and inspire. Christopher Reeves attended the Princeton Day School, now known as Princeton Day Academy, in New Jersey. In high school, he did lots of things besides studying. He was the drama club president, helped run the singing group, and even played ice hockey really well. All these activities showed that Christopher was well-liked, a leader, and good at sports. Most importantly, his school days proved how much he loved acting. He then went on to Cornell University, and his passion for acting was still there. Of course, having extremely educated parents, he had no choice but to diligently pursue his studies. But even at that, Christopher never let go of his theatrical aspirations. Because of this, he actively participated in university productions. His dedication landed him a role in the soap opera Love of Life, a small but significant step towards his larger dream, driven by an insatiable hunger for excellence and to become a better actor. Christopher set his sights on the prestigious Juilliard School during his final years at Cornell University. Here, he was placed under the tutelage of the legendary John Houseman, where he honed his dramatic craft, and incrementally, his talent blossomed under the guidance of a master. Graduation from Cornell University in 1974 marked not an ending but a thrilling beginning for his acting career. He went full-time to Juilliard School, where he spent 4 more years. Christopher's Broadway debut came swiftly, sharing the stage with the iconic Katharine Hepburn in A Matter of Gravity in 1976. This remarkable feat not only showcased his undeniable talent, but also announced the arrival of a future star. Acting career. Landing a big part right out of acting school is like winning the lottery for actors. And that's exactly what happened to Christopher Reeve. His first play, A Matter of Gravity, on Broadway in 1976, was a huge deal, because he got to act alongside a super famous actress, kind of like a movie star of the stage world. Everyone loved his performance, and it showed everyone how talented he was. But Christopher wasn't just good, he was great. Reviews of his plays were like gold stars on a report card. People who watched him perform said he could play any kind of role, from serious characters in war plays to a guy telling his whole life story in one show. Christopher Reeve wasn't a flash in the pan on the stage. Sure, his Broadway debut was a star-making moment, but his passion for acting extended far beyond that one dazzling performance. And that fueled his passion for wanting more. Christopher craved exploring different stories, and he jumped at the chance to inhabit a variety of characters. In 1980, he took on a powerful role in The 5th of July. This wasn't a lighthearted comedy. It was a serious drama that explored the complexities of war and its lasting impact on families. It was a chance for Christopher to showcase his dramatic range and tackle a weighty subject, and he did so effortlessly. Another play, My Life, 1977, presented a completely different kind of challenge. This time, he wasn't playing just one character. He was portraying an entire lifetime. The audience got to see him transform on stage, embodying this one person at different ages. It was a unique opportunity to display his versatility and acting prowess. He even participated in plays like Love Letters, 1989, a more intimate production. Being a stage actor helped Christopher become a much better movie actor. Stage plays made him comfortable in front of a crowd, and he learned how to use his voice and body to tell a story without fancy special effects. This made him a stronger actor overall. Christopher Reeves' introduction to movies. After his beautiful performance on Broadway in A Matter of Gravity and his stellar, bone-racking performance in My Life, many people took a liking to Christopher Reeves, and this exposed him to being in the headlines. Coincidentally, in 1978, after his multiple personality performance in My Life in 1977, a role to play the multiple characters of Clark Kent and Kal-El presented itself. And Christopher, ever looking for a great acting role, applied. Richard Donner was the director of the Superman movie, and he couldn't help it but be wowed by Christopher's natural approach to playing the part. He knew that when Christopher finished his audition, he already had his lead actor in mind. Christopher Reeve got the part, and he became the first action-packed Superman on TV, a feat that skyrocketed him into stardom. He wasn't just some pumped-up dude in a cape. He brought kindness and believability to the role that audiences loved. He could be both the mild-mannered reporter, Clark Kent, with his glasses and awkward charm, and then transform into the powerful Superman, ready to save the day. It wasn't just special effects, it was Christopher's acting that made you believe he could fly. The movie was a smash hit. Everyone was talking about Christopher Reeve as Superman. Kids everywhere were running around in capes, pretending to fight evil. He became an instant celebrity, recognized on the streets and mobbed by fans. It was a whirlwind of interviews, photo shoots, and movie premieres. However, as Christopher was Superman in movies, he was a superhuman in real life too. He used his newfound fame for good. He visited children's hospitals, inspiring them with his portrayal of hope and strength. He became a symbol of courage and doing the right thing, both on screen and off. Even though Superman made Christopher Reeve a superstar, he didn't want to be stuck in a cape forever. He went on to act in many different movies. In Somewhere in Time, 1980, he played a romantic guy who travels back in time for love. Then he switched things up completely and played a mysterious villain in a thriller called Death Trap, 1982. He even showed his dramatic side in a period piece called The Bostonians, 1984, where he got caught in a love triangle. History buffs might recognize him from The Aviator, 1985, in which he played a brave World War I pilot. He even tried out comedy in Street Smart, 1987, playing a rich guy who gets schooled by a streetwise hustler. To show his funny side again, he pretended to be a weatherman who swapped jobs with a news anchor in Switching Channels, 1988. These are just a few examples. Christopher Reeve kept surprising audiences with his acting range throughout his career. The range of his career would have been so diverse and unlimited, if not because of his fatal near-death injury. Spinal cord injury. Just as Superman had kryptonite as his weakness, falling off a horse was Christopher Reeve's kryptonite. A little trip to partake in the equestrian competition totally changed the trajectory of his life. In 1995, Christopher partook in an ongoing equestrian competition since he was a fairly good rider himself. However, upon jumping the hoops, the horse Christopher was riding suddenly decided to halt. This suddenness caught Christopher by surprise, and he was thrown off the horse, which landed him awkwardly. The fall was so bad that it led to a spinal cord injury that paralyzed him from the neck down, something he never recovered from. Imagine being full of life, full of energy, and then suddenly being trapped inside your own body. It was a devastating blow, not just for Christopher, the person, but for Christopher, the actor. Effect of his injury, his career, once on a rocket ride to the stars, screeched to a halt. The roles he used to play, the ones that required him to run, jump, and use his whole body to tell a story, those were no longer possible. It seemed like everything he'd worked so hard for was gone. However, it was not only Christopher that the incident was hard on. His wife, Dana Reeve, and his little boy then, William Reeve, also were massively affected by the incident. William really had a lot to deal with because he was just 3 years old when his father became paralyzed. What William Reeve has to say about his dad. For a 3-year-old boy who knew his dad to be a playful, touchy, and extremely sweet man, to be a man bound to his wheelchair with pipes attached to his neck, the only thing that allowed him to breathe, it would have been very difficult. However, one great thing that William always said was that he still looked at his dad in the same light as his hero. "I'm always with my dad." William always says this whenever he's at an interview, talking about his father. His dad had as much impact on him growing up as he would have if he hadn't been injured. A fond memory that William always remembers was when his dad, Christopher, taught him how to ride a bike as a kid. Teaching your child how to ride a bike is always one of the father-children bonding moments that most kids cherish when they have theirs. When teaching your kids, you will need to touch them, help them get up when they fall, and encourage them. Most of these actions require the father to move around, jump, and even touch their kids. But Christopher didn't have any of these abilities. But he used the only thing he had to bond with his son, teaching him how to ride a bike. He used his voice. William fondly described his first bike riding experience. Obviously, he couldn't hold the seat and help me out. But he told me to put my right foot on the pedal, my left foot on the ground, and push as hard as you can with your right foot, and your left foot on the pedal, and just keep doing that. Christopher's calm and encouraging words became his hands, guiding William through the turns, and helping him balance that day that William would fondly remember. William has always had a lot of nice things to say about his dad, both for what he did in movies and in real life. In a letter he wrote for Father's Day, which was featured on Good Morning America, he talked about how his dad gave him everything he needed, love, attention, and all the things he cared about. This shows how much William really values his dad and all the good things he did for him. It seemed like the injured Christopher Reeve had a good time and left a good impression on William, much more than many people can think about. When William grew a bit older and started playing hockey, just like Chris did when he was younger, Chris never missed any of his son's hockey games. He was always there. Will explained that he shared a lot of things together. We shared a very deep bond in general, but sport was a very major component of our family bond. This was what Will said to people at The People in 2015 when they asked him about his late father. Ken Regan, a family friend, also shared that Christopher went to Will's hockey game, just like he usually did. He always tried to be there for all of Will's sports stuff, Ken told People in 2004. After the game, they spent the rest of the day watching baseball together at home. Many people would have gone nuts after losing the active parts of their bodies, and they would oftentimes take it out on their loved ones. But Christopher Reeves was different. He was just as much a father figure in his kid's life when he became crippled, as he was when he was the Superman that still stood tall. Christopher Reeves' love life. Just like Clark Kent and Kal-El had Lois Lane in the Superman movies, Christopher Reeves also had his fair share of true love off the set. In the 1970s, Christopher met Gay Exton, a model agent, while he was a rising star. They fell in love and had a son, Matthew, together. Then came his big break Superman. Filming was in England, while Gay and their family stayed in London. Being apart so much put a strain on their relationship, and they ended up growing apart. They never really divorced, but parted amicably in 1987. However, Christopher doesn't let the strained love he has with Gay stop him from pursuing love again. While filming Somewhere in Time, Christopher meets his co-star, Jane Seymour. They fell for each other, but Christopher already had a family. He decided to go back to Gay, especially when she was expecting another baby. Still, the connection with Jane stayed special. Finally, in 1987, Christopher met Dana Morosini, a singer and actress. This time, things felt different. They built a strong relationship based on respect and shared values. Christopher had been married before and wasn't sure about getting married again, but Dana's love and support convinced him, and they got married in 1992. Their son, William, arrived 2 months later in that same year. When Donna married Christopher, there were many rumors that Dana married him for fame and that she was going to eventually leave him. 3 years after their marriage, to prove that Dana truly loved Christopher, he fell off the horse and broke his spinal cord. Most people would have left, but she stayed with him all through. Even Christopher once said in an interview that one of the reasons he was still kicking was because his wife Dana stayed with him. What cemented that she indeed loved him was when she died 2 years later of love cancer after Christopher died. Death of the Man of Steel. On the 10th of October 2004, Christopher Reeves was pronounced dead, and the leading cause of his death can be said to be his gruesome fall from the horse 9 years earlier. Tragically, a pressure sore, a common issue for people with paralysis, became infected. Antibiotics were supposed to help, but they instead caused a heart attack that left him in a coma. 18 hours later, Christopher Reeve passed away. This was a huge blow to the whole world. The Man of Steel who fought Lex Luthor and other powerful aliens in the movie. And the real Man of Steel who defied all odds to survive a gruesome fall to death in real life. A good husband to his wife and a splendid father to his kids. Christopher Reeve never really gave up. Even after the accident in 1995, he clung to the dream of walking again. He fought hard on 2 fronts, science and his own body. On the science side, Christopher became a champion for research. He put his fame to good use, talking to scientists, raising money, and founding his own foundation. He wanted to find a cure, not just for himself, but for everyone struggling with paralysis. He didn't wait for a miracle, though. Christopher pushed himself every day in physical therapy. He explored any treatment that might give him a chance to walk again. His determination was an inspiration to others. Christopher also knew he wasn't alone. He founded a foundation to help people with paralysis live better lives, even if they couldn't walk. He brought people together and kept hope alive. Sadly, Christopher never walked again. But his fight wasn't in vain. Thanks to his relentless work, research kept going, and there's always more hope for a cure in the future. Christopher's story is a 1 in a million. He never gave up until the very end, and he served as a source of inspiration to many others. And even after his death, his story still continues to inspire. Leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video for more stories in Hollywood. Thank you.